Welcome in the class of Basic Civil Engineering. Today we will continue the further part of the surveying. In yesterday's lecture, we have seen what is surveying, objectives of surveying, then what is the uses of surveying, the basic principles of surveying. So today we are going to see the classification of surveying. So I am Mr. S.S. Saugule, Assistant Professor, Civil Engineering Department. So the classification of survey. Survey can be classified into various categories depending upon the method used and the nature of the field. So the classification based on the instrument. The first is the chain surveying. This is the simplest type of surveying in which only linear measurements are made with a chain or a tape. Angular measurements are not taken. So this is particularly the chain which is called as a Gunter's chain or known as Gunter's measurement. So it is designed and introduced in 1620 by English mathematician Edmund Gunter. You might have heard the Guntha. So it is by the name of this mathematician, that is Gunter. So it enables plots of land to be accurately surveyed and plotted for legal and commercial purposes. So the length of this particular chain is around 20.1 meters. So Gunter developed an actual measuring chain of 100 links. This chain and links become a statutory measure in England and subsequently in British Empire, that is the Commonwealth countries like us. So here you can see these are the links and this is the chain. So the 66 foot, that is 20.1 meter chain is divided into the 100 links, usually marked off into group of 10 by brass rings or tags, which simplifies the intermediate measurement. Each link is thus of 7.92 inches, that is 201 mm long. A quarter chain or 25 links measure 16 feet 6 inches, that is 5.03 meters, and thus measures a rod or pole. 10 chain measures a furlong and 80 chain measures a mile. Gunter chain is reconciled to seamlessly incompatible systems. The traditional English land measurement based on the number 4 and decimal based on the number 10. Since an acre measured 10 square chains in a Gunter system, the entire process of land area measurement could be computed using the measurement of chain and then converted to acres by dividing the result of by 10. Hence, 10 chains by 10 chains equals to 10 acres and 5 chain by 5 chains equals to 2.5 acre. Basically the 14 guntas is the 1 acre. So keep this thing in mind. So these are the basic about the chain and chain surveying. Remember, the chain surveying is used for the linear measurement only. The angular measurements are not taken. Next is the compass survey. In compass survey, the angles are measured with the help of magnetic compass. There are two types of compass. One is prismatic compass and another is surveyor's compass. So these things have been used for the measurement of surveying. So you can see here these both are the prismatic compass. So we have the prism located over here, and by looking into this particular eyepiece we can see the reading on this particular dial. So with the help of this magnetic compass we can take the angles with the north of particular lines, etc. Now the chain and compass survey. In this survey the linear measurements are made with the chain and or tape, and angular measurements are with the compass. So in this survey both the systems have been used. So here you can see this is the example of the chain and compass survey. Here you can see we have the distances of these particular lines, that is A and B doing the angle with the north, that is 45.7, then BC line doing angle with the north, that is 22.2, and here this CD is doing angle with the north 0. Here you can see this DE line is doing angle with the north 38.3. Same way EF is doing angle of 76.2, and this last line, that is FG, is doing angle with the north, that is 112.3. Here you can see all the bearings, we are call it as a bearings, have been written in this particular table or in particular column. And same way we have these readings, these are the A to B distances in meter. So here you can see all these distances has been written over here, and in this column these distances are present. So by the way, when we know the point A, that is at this coordinate, we can find the B with this angle and the measurement. We can mark from A to B with these two, that is angular measurement as well as the linear measurement. So this way the compass and chain surveying has been done. Now the plane table surveying. So it is the graphical method of surveying in which field work and plotting both are done simultaneously. And next is the so before moving, this is the plane table in which you might have seen the plane table. Uh, the people with the people, those are coming for the land measurements, etc. So this is the plane table, and these are the different instruments. So on this plane table we have to mount or the put the uh, paper, and with the help of all these instruments we have to uh, make or prepare a drawing or a map here itself. As here you can see, this is one example of this plane table surveying. So here this is the plane table, and this map of this area we have marked on this particular table. By looking towards these sides from this center point, we can mark directly, while on the field itself we can prepare a map by using suitable scale. From here we can look toward that this K point, and we can mark the K over here by knowing the distance between these two, and by multiplying it with the suitable scale. So this is the example of the plane table surveying drawing, how we are preparing the drawing in plane table surveying. We have the plane table over here. Here you can see this is the one type of plane table traversing. First we can put the table over here, then we can mark towards B. When then we will move to the B, then marks towards C, then move to the C, we can mark the D, then to E, and lastly A. So, and these are the check lines, so that we'll get that prepared drawing whether it's correct or not. So this way this plane table surveying is or can be done. Next is the theodolite survey. So the theodolite survey, the horizontal angles are measured with the theodolite more precisely than compass, and the linear measurement are made with the chain or tape. So theodolite is the basically, so this is the instrument called theodolite. So here you can see this is the theodolite. So detailed study of theodolite is there in the civil engineering in the subject surveying. So right now we'll take some introduction. That is, we have uh, the two rotation or the rotation discs over here. So first is this spindle on which this telescope tends to rotate horizontally in 360 degrees, and this is another, that is horizontal. This telescope used to tends to rotate in this direction, that is vertically. So here we have two vernier scales over here. One is here and one is on another side. Same way on vertical slide or vertical angle measurement slide, we have the two verniers over here. So both way we have to take the reading, and by making the taking the mean of these two readings, we have to finalize the reading. Again we have the bubble tube over here and over here also. So first thing we used to do, that we have to make this particular theodolite, um entirely horizontal while taking any reading, otherwise there will be a error in the readings. So all these things are there. Even in detail, some tangent screw or tightening screws are also there for the taking or fixing the position of theodolite. And below this, the tripod, we used to put this thing on the tripod, and we have to take the angular measurements by using the theodolite. Even the linear measurements are also possible. We are going to see in next or incoming part. This is the tachometry. This is the special type of theodolite known as the tachometer, is used to determine the horizontal and vertical distances indirectly. Basically, in tachometric survey, uh, in this particular telescope, we have some markings over there, and likewise we need to take the readings. And this is a particular that lens, we have to take three readings. One is central, another is top, and another is bottom. So we will have the three readings: one is here, one is here, and one is here. And we can prepare a triangle like this, and by using some geometry and trigonometry, we can find this particular distance. That is this distance, and this is called as a tachometry. So same way we can found the vertical distances by using the trigonometry and the geometry. So this way the tachometric survey can be done. Basically, why it is needed? Because in some areas like this, as here you can see, we have some undulations over here. Even sometimes we have some obstructions like this river, etc. So what we have to do? We have to or we can see here some obstruction like this also there. So to measure this distance, we need go for tachometry. Next is the leveling survey. This type of surveying is used to determine the vertical distances, that is the elevation, and relative height of point with the help of the instrument known as levels. So there are few types of level, that is dumpy level, Y level, auto level. Those levels are even tilting that levels are there. So these levels have been used to find the vertical distances or the elevation. Basically the elevations are needed when we are preparing the contour maps, or for the major reservoirs or the dam sites, or even for the road building in guard sections or in plain surfaces. Even we need this leveling survey, so that we will find the quantity of excavation and feeling. And as I have told you earlier, that we have measured the height of Everest, Mount Everest. So all this tachometry, leveling survey, all these things have been used at the time of this particular measurement. So here you can see we have this leveling survey going on. So this is the level, particularly this is the level, and these are the staffs. So basically level does not have any marking or any uh, measured or something we can measure. So it is the staff on which that the readings are there. It is like a scale on which the readings are marked, and by looking to this particular level, we can find the what is the height at which this uh, particular point is there. And by using this line of collimation and rise and fall, two methods are there. By using two methods, we can find the level of that particular point. Here you can see the benchmark elevation. So what is the benchmark? uh, so benchmark are the points, you might have seen the benchmarks or the RLs, that is reduced levels, on the railway stations or the particular places, etc, etc. That those benchmarks gives the height of particular point from the zero datum. And for our country, that zero datum has been located in Karachi. in Karachi, because before independence we have the total united region, that is India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. So the English people have established that zero datum point at Karachi. So with that reference, all RLs are there, all reduced levels are there. So those reduced level are taken to the different points, and there those these benchmarks have been established, so that from this benchmark that local surveyor or local survey can be carried out by using this permanent benchmark. Now the photogrammetric survey. The photogrammetry is a science of taking measurement with the help of photographs taken by aerial camera from the aircraft. So basically, it is like we use the drone right nowadays, a drone photography, but this is a kind of advanced photography. So this is the science of taking measurement with the help of photographs taken by the aerial camera from the aircraft. So aircraft used to fly over the particular region, and then we used to take the photographs, and by using those photographs we can prepare maps or take the measurement. And next is the EDM survey. In this type of survey, all measurement, that is length, angle, and coordinates, are made with the help of EDM instrument, that is total station, that is electronic distance measurement particular instrument. And total station is one of the example of this thing. Even now we have the GIS or GPS also. So here you can see this aerial photography is there, that is photogrammic survey is there. So here this way we are taking the pictures. It is the series of continuous picture that airplane flows from this way. First it will took this way, it will complete this path, again it used to fly in this direction by taking the photograph of this strip. So first it will complete this strip around this particular region, then next region, and earlier we used to take the photograph of this particular region. So by overlapping all these things we will get the map of entire particular area. So here you can see at the time it is connected to satellite, and it used to send the data to the particular command center to for the processing. So by the processing we'll get the maps like this. So here you can see another example, and here different layers are there. Actually you might have seen the Google Maps or the Wikimapia. In that these kind of pictures has can be seen. Actually those are the taken mostly from the satellites, but same way this photogrammetry work. So these kind of pictures are there. So this is one of the picture taken by the particular photogrammetry. So the series of picture have been taken, and by using different layers we can analyze those pictures. Here you can see different layers are there, and you might have seen the this format like on the Google Map or etc. This kind of format, that water has been shown in this color and land has been shown in this color, and then roadways and all other things that can be shown on that particular map. So this way this photogrammetry is can be done. Again, last is the idiom, as I told you earlier. So it is the total station. So it is somewhat similar with the uh, theodolite, but it does all the work electronically, because we have the vertical circle or the spindle disc over here, horizontal disc here we have the central bubble tube over here. Only thing is we have this screen over here, and basically the technology behind this total station or EDMs are, we used to fire or uh, fire a laser from this particular the scope by looking towards the particular point which from which we have to find the distance. And by using that ray hits the target. There are different types of target that we can directly hit the particular point, or some prisms are there for the long range. uh, we can have the this we can or we can use or measure the distance around 3 to 6 kilometers, that is 0 to maximum capacity is 3 to 6 kilometers we can measure the distance. So for that the prism is there, and some this environmental conditions or weather conditions has playing the important role, so that if the visibility and everything is good, so we can measure the long distance also. So basically up to 3 meters 3 kilometers these things can be used effectively. So the laser hits that particular target and it returns. So by measuring the traveling time we can calculate the distance, because we know the how the light travels or the how the laser travels. So by that equation we can found the distance, and also we know the angles in which angle it has been tilted. So it is it does that this computer in the theodolite does all the mathematics, and it gives the results in form of distance, even in the inclined distance, horizontal distance, vertical distance, and then coordinates also it gives, and it gives a angle also, it is used for the angle measurement also. So all these things are possible with this particular theodolite. So here you can see we have the theodolite over here. People are measuring the things. And in nowadays, this is the one of the most popular instrument of surveying, because it gives entire data, and data has been stored in particular format. Later we can take it on the computer directly, and we will process it as per our requirement. Even the contour measurement or contour maps or the preparation of map, calculation of area, calculation of volume, all the things are possible by using this instrument. The computer and software will do the entire thing only once we feed the data taken by the total station. And the next thing is there, I want to add, right now the it is the era of the GPS. As here you can see, it is the era of the GPS. As here we have the satellites above. Right now, you might have heard that Navik system has been inaugurated by the India, that is the GPS system. Earlier, we used to have a GPS system by the China, then the US and the Russia. That is the US having the GPS system, Russia having the GLONASS system. So right now, we also developed the Navik system, that is GPS system for our country. So in that system particularly, we have so many satellites above our head at the time. So among them, three satellite or four satellite used to uh, by taking signal of those satellite, we can accurately measure the distance or the point at which we have right now. So by the help of these references, that is references in the atmosphere, in the sky, we have the particular location, or we can mark the particular location at the point, so that by referring to 3 points we can find the distance, angles, or we can prepare a map by using that small receiver, is called as GPS. We can, by using that thing, we will prepare a map and do the surveying. So particularly this is the classification of surveying. uh, So this is the general overview of surveying. So this is for the today's lecture. The references for all the surveying are again same. That is slideshare.com, and we have used a book of basic civil engineering by Hiraskar. Even there are a few surveying good books also, like to mention. That is Kanetkar Kulkarni are there. Even some Punmiya's books are also there, which have been mentioned in your syllabus also. So thank you.